Okay, I'm back and I'm going to attempt to solve the issue that I'm having. So, currently when I run the program, whenever it decides to load up here, when I run the program, if I take an item, I know there's a jar here, so I'm going to take a jar. A jar has been taken, and we've called the remove method on jar. I just added a debug function to remove. That's why I'm redoing the video here. So in the remove function now, we have a debug printout that'll happen. It'll just say remove in whatever item I attempted to remove, just so I can know where my issues are happening. So right now I've taken a jar. So if I look in the area, which I should have shown you before, it would have showed there was a jar in location. Now there's nothing in the location. But if I look in my inventory, there was nothing before, and now there's a jar, a glass jar. So if I drop the item, drop the jar is dropped, and again I call the remove method, again removing the jar, this time from my, during the transfer item thing, it would have been from my inventory to the location's inventory, but I dropped the jar. So now if I look, the jar is back in the location, and if I look in my inventory, I've got nothing in my inventory. So that's where we're at with that. However, there's still an issue, because let's say if I take the jar again, it allows me to take the jar, and again if I look in my inventory, now I have a jar. If I look in the location, there's no jar. Okay, I can drop the jar again. Actually, I'll keep the jar. We're going to go east. We're not going to do a riddle today. We're going to go south, down the rabbit hole. Again, no riddle. We're going to go west. No riddle. And now I'm going to look, and I see a couple different things. In the great location, I've got a key, a table, a key, a curtain, a door, a bottle, and a cake. Okay, so what is that? 6 items. So, that including the door. So, I'm going to open the door. You know what? There's a door. Let's open it. Door's locked. You don't have the key. Okay, well that sucks. Okay, well, I seen a key there. Take the key. I took the key. So now if I look, the key is no longer in the location. Great. It should be in my inventory. If I go to click inventory, there it is. I've got a glass jar. I've got a jar and a key. Great. Well, I'm going to use the key. I'm going to open the door. Presumably, this key is to the door. Oh, look, it is. Door opened. But you're not tall enough. Story of my life. So, correction, you're too tall to fit through it. Yeah, I wrote the code and still can't remember. The door is open. You're too tall to fit through. I've never heard that. But anyway, so in that case, I'm too tall. Okay, well, I'm going to drink some potion. I seen a bottle there. The story says if I drink from that bottle, I shrink. Okay, after drinking the contents of the bottle, you shrink down to 10 inches. And you'll also notice that the key got removed. That's something that automatically happens to keep in line with the story. When she drinks the bottle, she shrinks, so now she can fit through the door. The door is supposed to be locked again, and she doesn't have the key. So if I go to open the door now, the door is locked, and you don't have the key. Well, doesn't that just suck? Let's verify I don't have the key. Let's look in my inventory. In my inventory, I have a glass jar, no key, so it was removed. Now, if I look to see where it is, the key is back in the Great Hall location. It's back there. Okay, well that's something. Okay, but now I'm really small. I probably can't take the key. I'm going to try to take the key. You are too short to grab the key off the table. So this is in line with the story, but obviously no good for Alice right now. Okay, I'm going to eat the cake. In line with the story, she eats the cake, she grows 9 feet tall or something. Boom. After eating the cake, you grow 9 feet tall. So, that's great. Well, I'm going to look to see if that key is still there. When I look, things terminate. So, why is that? Well, I'm accessing, what was the last method call? So, I'm in process verb look, and then it would have said you are in, because that's typically how the look method works. It's like you are in, and then it's going to tell me where I am. The Great Hall should be down here somewhere, but I never get to that because all my can't talk. Debug code happens here. I return Great Hall. That's ultimately where it should have said I am. And then I go to the character's location. It's right here. And then I get their game objects. So I call take item from the get game objects. Even though I wasn't taking an item, I'm just looking. But it calls the get game objects from the take item here, which maybe is an issue. But get game objects, describe game objects, goes through the for loop to describe the game objects. And we see a lot of stuff here. Like it's the three-legged table, it's the curtain, it's the door, it's the bottle, it's the cake, it's the key. Okay? And then after it goes to it again. We know there was only 6 items ever, so there should not be any more. It should just be table, curtain, door, bottle, cake, key. There shouldn't be anything else. So, and what might have happened is when I keep going to iterate through something. Now, there's a reason for that, obviously. I'm not removing something that previously I had removed, or there's some issue between the transfer when I take an object and when I drop an object. I'm supposed to have a transfer of those items. I'm supposed to physically be adding to an inventory or taking away from an inventory, whatever way the transfer is, and there's some disconnect there. There's obviously some, like if I look at this address, there's some issue with how things are working out here. So, bad allocation, like I'm off the reservation sort of thing. So, what I'm going to do, sorry, I'm getting text here. So what I'm going to do is, I need to figure out where that is. So, obviously, it's in the remove method, I think, somewhere, because the fact that I keep going here, when I'm in the, where's this at? Describe game objects. Well, let's just go to describe game objects. Let's just put this over here. Game objects, I believe, is in this method. Get game objects, add, remove. Describe game objects. Right here. So describe game objects method. I call that, and I'm in this for loop here. Printing this out. I never print out this. I didn't see this, which would indicate that I would only print that out if the pointer was null. But it's not null. So I'm going beyond. I'm writing out the address because that happens. In fact, I can't grab this here. So I am writing out the address. I think I jumped down here. I'm writing out the address, so I'm getting to this point, because even at the end, I write object address and whatever the object is. But then, here's the issue. Then I'm accessing, obviously, this line of code here, or here, like somewhere before I return it. And it's causing an issue, because I'm going object, get name. So clearly, I'm pointing to this thing. So object description, I'm trying to append to it, which is, object description is just a string here. But I'm trying to go and get the name of the object. And object, remember, is a pointer. So this obj here is a game object pointer. It's a reference to the game object pointer. So I'm actually getting the game object pointer. And then I'm dereferencing it and calling the get game method on it. So if the pointer is a null pointer, or if I'm pointing to things, even if it's not a null pointer, because theoretically, if it was a null pointer, it would have got triggered up here. But it's obviously not a null pointer. But perhaps it's not a null pointer, but it's a and maybe my continue is a problem too. Maybe I should be breaking out. But if it's a null pointer, that would have stopped there. But say if it's not a null pointer, but it's still not referring to actual memory, things that are proper, right? Well, the get game is not going to work. I'm going to get this mess. And so that's what I think is happening somewhere in here. Now, I don't get to see the get name function, but theoretically, if it happened right away, that would be, it would throw it and I wouldn't see the printout. So I think this is the offending line of code, because I'm just not getting. Let's do a quick change, actually. Because again, that's all we're doing here is doing stuff in line. Let's make this a break. I made it a... Oh. Don't want this. We're going to make this a break and see if that makes any difference. I can't remember why I originally continued. Well, I wanted to reiterate just in case. But you know what? I think a break might just as well work in here. Let's try this. Probably not going to do what I want, but... So, let's see. We're going to take the jar just because we want it. We're going to go... we're going to go east. Nope. We're going to go south. No. We're going to go west. And then we're going to look. All that stuff. We're going to right away... Well, we're going to try to open the door as usual. We're going to try to open the door. I'm going to take the key. Take the key. I'm going to look at my inventory. Oh, look, I've got a key and a thing. So I'm going to open the door again. It opened. Great. I'm going to... But I can't fit through it, so that sucks. So I'm going to drink the bottle. And now the key got removed from me. Okay. And just 1 second. Yeah, don't worry about him. He's just on the bus on the way home regularly. Okay. She is. I'll call you back in just 2 minutes. Okay. After drinking the bottle, I'm tall. I try to open door. Door is locked again. I don't have the key. If I look, I just have a jar. Where'd the key go? I can look, and the key is back on the table, as is the bottle. We'll disregard that for a minute because I thought drinking the bottle would have taken the bottle, but who knows? Let's in fact take the bottle and see if that makes a difference. Actually, I don't want to mess with it anyway. I'm too small. The key's back there. If I try to take the key, I'm too short to grab the key. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to eat some cake. After eating cake, can I take the key? It doesn't matter if I say take key or look. It was before giving an issue. So I take key and it does this issue again. So, again, we're getting to the point of I'm iterating through all of the things. I'm in the describe game objects method. I'm iterating through and seeing the table, the curtain, the door, the bottle, the cake, the key, and then I'm still iterating for some reason and causing an issue. So I got to figure out why that's happening. Why do I keep iterating through? Is it because the game object is... Actually, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing something. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking that the game object should be created for each room. I'm just trying to talk aloud. The game object should be created for each room, so each game object just contains those items. And that should be the case, so I might have to think about this for a second. I'm just wondering if it somehow is more, because when I first create a game object list, I create it as a default size, and I'm wondering if that's causing the issue. You know what? I'm going to make as soon as I go in the describe game objects method, I'm going to print out how big the game object is. Sometimes I like the auto-populate, sometimes I don't. I'm going to go game objects. GameObjects.size, and yeah, so I'm going to call GameObjects.size, which is going to return the size of the vector that stores the game object pointers, and because that's a size, in order to concatenate it in C++, I have to call the old toString method on it, passing it in, not the toString like toString in Java, but this method that allows me to print it. Let's see about that. And why is this red? Use of undeclared identifier debugger. Oh, that's because there's no B. Okay, let's try this and see what size we're dealing with. Take key, boom. Drop key. You know what? Don't even need that key. Wait, did it? There is no key. Okay. I can't drop then. I meant to take... I'm thinking key. I meant to take jar. Okay, good. East. No. South. No. West. No. Look. There's that key. I'm going to take key. Right away. Key's taken. Right away. Removed. If I look in my inventory, I've got a key. If I look at the table, there's no key. If I open the door, door is open because I had the key. I drink bottle. I'm going to take bottle and see if that makes a difference. Take bottle. Oh, first of all, here's my size. GameObjects.size is 0. So I'm not sure. GameObjects.size. I'm just going to take the bottle. Bottle taken. I'm going to drink the bottle. After drinking the contents, I shrunk down. Open door. But the key was removed. We can see it there. Door is locked, so I'm going to eat cake. I'm not going to bother trying to take the key. I can't. I'm too short, so I'm just going to eat cake. After eating cake, I'm tall. I'm going to try to take the key. I'll look this time to see if the key's there. Either way, there's going to be a failure. So that's what happened. But as you can see, when we go to describe the game objects, which up here, screwing off. Pool of Tears, we got some code happening here. So here it's saying 8, so my game object size is 0. Which is odd because this should be referring to my game object list, which I'm calling. But I guess it's this. Maybe I'm going to... You know what? Before I start freaking out about that, let me just come in here. Right below this, we'll just continue. We'll go debugger. This stuff... Oh, look, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Sometimes I wonder how good this AI is. Like, it's really good. But I want to basically find out the size of this. So dereference it, but I'm just going to use the arrow pointer. I could have dereferenced it. I could use this arrow pointer. I could have just as well dereferenced it and used the dot notation. But because the dot notation order of operation precedence, you have to put this in parentheses first. I have to dereference it in parentheses first. If I would have just done this, see, it works like that, but if I would have just done this without the parenthesis, it'd be an error because of order of precedence and operations and all that sort of stuff. So I'll do that. No need to do that. I'm just doing that to show that there's different ways to do it. Here, the text would have been the preferred way. But let's do this again and see if that works. Don't care about the build. Okay, east, no. South, no. West, no. Look, all the stuff is there like we figured it would be. I'm just going to take the key, open the door. Oh, it's opened. I'm too tall though, so I know that, so I'm just going to drink the bottle right away. I'm sure, but now I don't have the key. Oh look, there's nothing in here. So if I look, where's the key? Oh, it's back there. Okay, well, I'm going to eat the cake. I ate the cake. Now I'm going to look, because I know the key's at the table. I'm going to look for it, and I crash. Okay. We knew that was going to happen. The thing is that this dot size is also 0. So obviously, I'm not getting a reference to a game object or something. My instance variable associated with the game object list is in fact 0. So that's obviously not great. So game object list here. Game objects, which is my vector of type game object pointer, is never initialized. Let me just look here. It should be initialized in my constructor, but let's see. So in my constructor, I create it, but it's 0. Like I just initialize. So I do initialize it, sorry. It's just 0. There's no elements in there. When am I adding elements to that? So now I'm going to have to go back to where I populate the location items and figure out why they're not actually being added. I've got the describe method. I've got the this game object method add. So I obviously need to, when I'm adding, I'm taking a game object pointer and then the game object list, which is this item. I'm pushing an object onto it. So I'm pushing the object onto the game object list when I add. But this is referring to this game object list. You know what might be the issue here? I'm thinking this as I'm talking. Even as I'm iterating through the game objects, I'm dereferencing this, which refers to the game object pointer, which is under the hood, a vector. But I'm never actually referring to game objects. Here I'm referring to game objects. Here I'm referring to, either way, both sides are 0. One of them should be getting added to. I'm not sure what's happening. What I was trying to think is, say if I'm just going to comment this line of code out to show you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, because this extends vector of type, which I think I should just be changing anyway because I have a game object in here. I just didn't want to, again, I don't want to add changes that compile. But I think maybe I go this and then refer to its game objects and then call pushback on game object and see if that makes any difference. Because now I'm actually I'm activating the instance variable. And now, this is why I didn't want to do it. Redefinition of add. Okay, well, let's just quickly do that. Oh, did I comment it out here, by the way? Where's add? Okay, well, let's comment that out. Okay, east. No. South. No. West. No. Take key. Open door. Open door. You don't have a door. What? Where am I? Great Hall. Okay. Look. Okay, so now I just lost my items. So, okay. So the vector before, so now I don't even have any items in this vector. Yeah, I'll gotta shut this video off and sort this out. Not in real time, because obviously I'm just screwing things up. So basically, by accessing game object list, now I'm screwing things up. Not to say that that won't be the solution to use game object list, but at this point, everything else was obviously referring to this. Like using the this pointer, not as opposed to everything is dereferencing this because the game object list extends from vector and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Whereas I would have to, interject this game objects in between to make that work. So we'll come back to that and see if that's a solution later, but that's not a now thing. Anyway, that's where we're at. Still a huge mess. Hopefully I can figure it out eventually.